This is the Samsung S24 Ultra. Is it the best Android phone? Well, Marques Brownlee thinks so because he just awarded the best smartphone of the year in his annual smartphone awards. Now with the S25 being just around the corner, you're going to see the 24s going on sale, and there will definitely be a lot of them on the used market as well. So I've had my phone for quite a while now, and I'm going to give you my honest long-term owner's review. As always, I'll tell you the good, the bad, and give you my final thoughts at the end, so stick around. Now, Samsung has made very good smartphones for quite a while, but I avoided them because I felt that their software was unfinished. They added lots of buttons and features that didn't quite work as well as they should have. They've always had fantastic hardware. I just always felt that the software wasn't quite there yet. But things have really changed. I actually now believe they have one of the best versions of Android on the market. And I've got very few gripes, so it's seriously impressive. Starting off with the specs. We've got a 6.8-inch screen that goes up to 120 Hertz. 4 cameras, with the max one being 200 megapixels, up to 100x zoom, up to 8K 30 frames per second video. It's packing the Snapdragon 8-core Generation 3 processor, 12 gigabytes of memory, and 500 gigs of storage. With my model, you can get it up to a 1 terabyte storage. It's got the 5G Plus network, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it ships with Android 14. So let's start with the good. The build quality is insanely good. It's super sturdy and it feels great in the hands. The performance is ridiculous. I've never felt any sort of a lag or slowdown at all. It's buttery smooth the entire time. The battery is easily one of the best I've ever experienced in a phone. I can easily get 2 days of usage out of my S24 Ultra, and I've had the phone for 7 months and I've felt no degrading of the battery yet. You can also purchase the 45-watt super fast charger. So phones are normally 10 watts. We got fast chargers that were 16 to 18 watts. This one now has 45 watts super fast charging. It's going to get you to 70% battery starting from 0 in only 30 minutes, and a full charge takes you just about an hour. The last little bit of charging always takes a bit longer because they want to manage heat and also reduce the wear on the battery. Now, I personally don't use wireless charging. Of course, it does have it. I prefer the speed of wired charging and the fact that it puts less wear on the battery. Wireless charging is wasteful. It takes longer, and it can cause a little bit of heat on certain devices. So I'm not a big fan of wireless charge. I just use it on a phone mount here and there. But speaking of heat, I have never felt the phone even get the slightest bit warm under any use case. My girlfriend has an iPhone 13 Pro, and her phone gets scorching hot sometimes, and the battery has gotten very poor recently. The screen is easily one of the best I've ever seen. It has a built-in anti-glare, which is fantastic. Now, I use a screen protector on my phone, so unfortunately that adds gloss. I don't get the advantage of the anti-glare, but if you're not gonna rock a screen protector, the anti-glare is amazing for outdoor use. It's got 120 Hertz refresh rate and is a QHD resolution, which is 3120 by 1440. Now, you do have to go into the settings to enable that. By default, it's set to 1080p. Sound quality is outstanding. I rarely ever need to use full volume. Only if I'm going to play something while I'm in the shower will I do that. I've actually had to turn it down many times if I'm using it at night because the speakers are that loud. The cameras are ridiculously sharp, gives you very vibrant colors, and tons of great features. The moon shot is super cool. Yes, you can take pictures of the moon. Every year when Samsung shows this, it raises a lot of controversy. Haters will say, oh, it's post-processed, it's fake, they're using software to do it. Look, however they're doing it, you can take clear pictures of the moon, which is super cool, because just a few years ago, you need to spend thousands of dollars on a massive camera to do that. You can do that with a smartphone now. Now, by default, the camera is set to H.265 codec, which will give you smaller file sizes. But you creators out there know H.265 doesn't have the best compatibility with software and social platforms. So I recommend you go into settings and switch it to H.264. Honestly, the camera deserves an entire video on its own. And let me know if you want to see that. In fact, all my videos recently are shot using this phone, including this one right now. Now, for the clips and B-rolls that I'm showing, that's shot on an S20, because obviously I have to use the phone. I don't have a second one, but this main shot shot is on the S24 Ultra. And all my other videos, I use it all the time for the A-rolls and the B-rolls, so it's really helping me out as a creator. The S Pen is more useful than I thought. I use it to edit photos. It gives you great precision if you're moving things around or using those AI features. It also works as a remote control if you're using the camera on a tripod. Okay, now let's dive into the software. So Samsung's version of Android, which is basically their skin on top of Android, is called One UI. I'll start off with just a couple things I don't like. I don't like the Edge panel, and I don't like the Samsung News. So right away, I would go ahead and disable those because I just don't find them useful. Other than that, I really haven't disabled anything else. The home screen and settings are very well laid out, simple to understand, and there's tons of things that you can dig into and find, but it's all in a very simple, clean interface. It's got face unlocking as well as fingerprint unlocking. Now, I do use a tempered glass screen protector, which kind of messes up with the fingerprint reader under the screen. So I stick to face unlock, or I use the pattern if I have to. But in most cases, the face unlock works very well, and so I don't feel the need to use the fingerprint reader at all. Now, AI is where this phone really shines. I know AI is a buzzword. I thought it was a gimmick at first, but a lot of the AI features, I actually find myself using them quite often, and they're must-haves now. I wouldn't want to go back to a phone that doesn't have them. Photo editing is super cool. So you can remove objects, you can remove items, move objects back and forth, and combine that with the S Pen. I use this all the time for removing people in the back of my pictures or items or something I didn't quite get right. AI makes it super easy, and if I want to take that into a photo editor program after, it makes things a lot smoother having that AI feature built into the phone. It also has a tool to help you with writing when it comes to text and emails, so it's a lot easier than having to copy and paste back and forth between ChatGPT. You do have a writing assistant built into the keyboard. You can just tap it. It'll make things more professional, or it can make them sound a little bit more friendly. You can switch up the writing style a little bit with that AI feature. Circle to search is super cool. It works anywhere, kind of like what Google Lens does, but you can do it on a web browser, anywhere on your home screen. It's not just in pictures, and it works with pictures that you have from another phone or download from the web. I've even had times where I'm walking around and I just literally show a restaurant and I circle it before even taking the picture. You just tap that home button and it goes into the AI mode, circle what you're searching for. It'll show you that restaurant's hours. It'll search it up on Google, pull up all the information, the menu. So very, very useful for identifying places or objects, things you may want to buy, products. The list goes on and on with the circle to search feature. It's super cool to have that built in, and it takes you straight to a Google search, which is very, very convenient. I use that all the time. It's just nicer not having to bounce around through so many apps. You hold home, circle to search, and you're off. Even just copying text off a physical object is cool. Like, I've used it to identify part numbers off of auto parts. I took a picture or just held my camera, circled to search it, or actually just drag my finger across the part number, and right away it takes me to Google. I can find that part and I can buy it. There is also a browser assistant that actually helps you summarize web pages, although it only works on the Samsung web browser. I use Chrome, so I haven't really used that feature too much, but from what I understand, it's pretty cool. And there's also a translate and speech to text feature. So if you're on a phone call, the phone will actually translate to a different language for a person on the other end. And let's say you're in a meeting, you want to stay quiet, but you're getting a call. You can answer the call and switch to a speech to text mode or text to speech. So I can type a text. There's an AI voice that tells the person on the phone call what I'm saying. It's great for short conversations. Let's say if you're in a class or if you're in a meeting and someone's calling you, you want to quickly send them a text, have a short conversation back and forth. You can text and it will speak to them with a voice. They can speak back to you. Once you're done, you can contact them later for a normal phone call. Now, another very cool feature is Samsung DeX. What that does is it takes the One UI operating system and switches it to a desktop mode with a taskbar at the bottom, floating windows, just like what you would see on Windows or Mac or a Linux desktop. And that way you can actually use the phone in a desktop mode, and you can wirelessly connect to smart TVs. So I was actually showing some real estate properties in Texas. I'm really hoping to move to Texas at some point. Showing my girlfriend and my mom. I switched to the desk mode and it made it a lot nicer to look at the properties like that on the actual website compared to just mirroring my phone to the screen and getting, the touch screen interface on a TV. It doesn't really look the best, but the DeX mode is fantastic. I think for most people, this can truly be a desktop computer replacement. You can get a dock, have the dock connected to a screen with a keyboard and mouse, use your phone all day long, come home, plug it in the dock, it goes into DeX mode on the screen, and now you have a keyboard and mouse, floating windows, just like you would have on a desktop operating system. And for most basic users, even some creators like photo editing or video editing, as these phones are getting more capable with hardware and software, I really think we can have a future where a lot of people don't even need a desktop anymore unless they really need the compatibility and horsepower and the customizability of a desktop. For web browsing, light to medium creative work, documents, emails, you can definitely use DeX mode for those types of use cases. And Samsung also offers 7 years of update on the phone now, which should extend the lifespan of the phone and maybe even make it a better phone on the used market, because you know if you're buying one used that's 2-3 years old, you still have a lot of software updates that's going to happen, bug fixes, security updates, new features. Like my friend has the S23 Ultra and he wasn't aware of all the AI features. So I showed him them on his phone. Turns out his phone already updated and many of the AI features of the S24 are already on the S23. So the long-term support that Samsung is offering is very cool. Apple was really the only company giving such long support, but now Samsung is doing it as well, which will make these phones great on the used market. I've also got the Galaxy Buds that go along with the phone, seamless connection, very fantastic sound, great battery life. There's also a directional mode, so if I tilt my head back and forth, I can actually hear where the phone is in front of me as if it's coming from the speakers of the phone, but the Galaxy Buds are moving the sound around. So you get this kind of spatial audio thing based on the phone. There's also automatic noise canceling. So it's got noise cancel by default. You can switch it on and off by just holding the earbud. And as soon as I start talking to someone in person, the volume lowers, the noise canceling turns off. I can have a conversation. Once I stop physically talking, the volume goes back up and the noise canceling comes back on. So it's very seamless and integrated into your daily life. If you walk into a store, you want to talk to someone, it just hears your voice and takes care of it right away. So it's super cool not having to touch the phone or even the earbuds. You can switch these features on and off, but the seamless experience with the Galaxy Buds is really cool. Pairing them up was very easy. As soon as I opened the buds, the phone just showed up. It said, hey, Galaxy Buds found. Do you want to pair? So very, very seamless integration, and you get that nice ecosystem feeling between the Galaxy Buds and the S24 Ultra. Another cool thing is the phone has wireless power sharing. So you can actually charge the Galaxy Buds from the phone itself. You can plug in the phone, have the cable charging the phone, and the buds sitting on top of the phone, and they're getting wirelessly charged. So now the buds, the case, and the phone are all charging from just one cable. Very convenient, not having to charge the Galaxy Buds separately. You can charge the whole system together if you're using them very frequently. So what's not so good about the phone? This was a pretty tough question to answer. First and foremost, it's the price. The phone is not cheap. You know, phones have gotten very expensive in recent years. Depending on where you are, this phone can be a very hefty premium. But it is a flagship, so I get it. You're getting a ton of features, fantastic build quality. So I get that Samsung is able to charge that money. When I was buying the phone, I bought it from Best Buy, and I think it was one of the most expensive phones there. Only the Galaxy Fold costed more. Now, Android phones used to offer very good value, and a lot of them still do. But when it comes to these premium Samsungs, you're paying just as much as an iPhone, if not more. Again, the price is certainly justified, but the value proposition doesn't lie in a flagship product, and that's the case with most products. And as far as the 7 years of software support goes, it'll be interesting to see how the phone ages over time as far as the functionality and the resale value. Typically, Samsungs don't have the same resale value of an iPhone, but I think that might change with the software updates being offered. The big reason that the value actually drops when they're used is because there's so many fake phones on Marketplace that confuse people, and the people selling the real phones don't realize a lot of them are fake. So they end up lowering their price to match the market. Fake phones are all over the place. I actually almost bought a fake phone. I wanted to buy one from Marketplace, but that's a topic for an entirely other video. The S24 Ultra is also certainly big and heavy. Now, I've got big hands. I like the phone, but for example, my girlfriend's got smaller hands and she doesn't really like the size of the phone. It's a little bit too big for her. If she was gonna get a new phone right now, she'd want to just get the normal S24. But unfortunately, to get the S24 Ultra's specs and features, you do have to get this bigger body. Now, I think this phone should be called the S24 Ultra Plus. They should eventually offer just a normal Ultra that's going to give you all the same specs and features, but in a normal body size. I really think Samsung should do that going forward. We'll have to see what happens with the next generations, but the fact that you have to get the bigger body size to get the Ultra, I don't think is best for consumers. I think a lot of people would like to have this phone with its performance and capabilities, but in the normal body size. I also think the super fast charger should come with the phone. Now, call me old school, but I like the days when I would get a charger with a phone. Apple switched off from not giving you a charger, and of course Samsung followed. Now you have to pay an additional amount just to get the charger with the phone. It does come with the cable, but no charging brick. And to take advantage of that super fast charging, you do have to get the Samsung super fast charger. It would be nice if it all just came together. You're paying a ton for this phone. The least they could do is give you a charger. I don't buy the whole eco-friendly nonsense of how, oh, we're trying to save the planet. It's 2 boxes now. Like 2 boxes is worse than 1 box. That's 2 times the amount of shipping and trucks driving back and forth and Amazon deliveries. Let's cut the nonsense. It's not for eco-friendliness. It's just because they want to make more money and separate the devices. They also may want to lower the cost on the phone, so they want to keep the charger separate. I really don't think it's consumer friendly. They should figure out a way to just put the chargers back in the box, but that's probably not gonna happen. One small issue I have with the Galaxy Buds is sometimes if I'm changing a song or listening to some music, and I go to lock the phone, they cut off for just a second and then they reconnect. Very small issue, but it's worth mentioning. Every once in a while, when I lock the phone, it just cuts off for a second. I don't know why that's happening. It may get fixed during a software update, not a big deal. It connects right back and it doesn't really change the experience too much, but it would be nice if it didn't do that. One weird small thing that's personal to me is that in the notification center, there's no hotspot quick toggle button. Now, I use mobile hotspot all the time in my car, and when I get in my car, I have to go into the settings and turn mobile hotspot on every time. Normally on Android, there's a quick toggle in the menu. I know, I went in, I've hit edit, I've tried to find it. I'm telling you, it's not there as of right now. They may bring it back during an update. Now, there's this modes and routines feature where you can add a button to your home screen that turns it on, but I don't find that it's that reliable. So I'm still just scrolling down, going into settings, going into mobile hotspot, switching it on every time I get into my car, which is a little bit annoying. Android phones usually have it in the notifications where it's just a quick toggle button. I really think they need to bring that back. Other than those things, it's pretty hard to come up with downsides. It's honestly that good of a phone. I get why Marquez said this is the best phone in the market right now because it just offers so much performance. It's hard to come up with any negatives about this phone. So what are my final thoughts about the S24 Ultra? The phone is just too good. It's fantastic. The S25 is coming soon. It may be out by the time you're watching this video. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. But this is still going to be a solid phone for a long time. A lot of carriers will still sell this alongside the S25 at a discounted rate. You'll also find a lot of them on Marketplace that will have tremendous value for what you're getting. And with that 7 years of software support, I think this is going to be a very good phone for many years to come. I think this phone's camera deserves an entire video on its own because there's just so many settings and features to dig through, as well as another video on the tips and tricks and the best settings you should go through on the phone altogether. So let me know if you want me to do those videos. And check out the links in the video description. If you use one of those, it definitely helps support the channel. I love making these videos to help you with purchase decisions. And if I miss anything on the phone, just let me know and I'll cover it in a short video. And if you like this video, check out my video on the Lenovo Yoga 7i 2-in-1 laptop and why I think it's one of the best Windows laptops on the market. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.